Buenas tardes amigos, me encuentro en el Tim Hortons y vamos a leer The History of the Sforza Castle. De este libro, The Sforza Castle. Está en inglés y dice así: Anno Domini 1368. For almost a century, Milan had been under the seigniory of the Visconti, which assumed power when the rival de la Torre family was overcome and exiled by the Archbishop Otton Visconti. Ruling the flourishing city that had begun to sprawl into the surrounding territories, the members of the Visconti family succeeded one another amid poisonings, excommunications, and imperial vicariatships purchased for their weight in gold. At the death of the Archbishop Giovanni in 1354, the city was split between his three nephews, Matteo II, Galeazzo II, and Bernabo. After the first was eliminated within a year, the two other brothers struck a bargain. Milan was a fortified city, and its walls, whose perimeter matched the present internal circumvallation, had carriage gates, porte, and pedestrian doorways. Each heir got 3 city doors. Bernabo settled in the Ca Can, named after his ferocious mastiffs, near Porta Romana, in the vicinity of the church of San Giovanni in Conca, and governed the eastern section of the city and the relative hinterland. Galeazzo II, to whom the western section and territories were allotted, settled at Arengo, the palace near the site of the future cathedral, and undertook to build a fortified stronghold astride the medieval walls, level with the Giovia or Sobia city gate. The stronghold of Porta Giovia. Galeazzo II, who boasted Petrarch as his advisor, was actually more interested in the city of Pavia, further south, or Pavia, where he began building a full-fledged castle intended as a patrician residence. It was instead his son and heir in 1378, Gian Galeazzo, who strengthened and extended the fortress at Porta Giovia, turning it into a vast fortified area on a square plan, divided down the middle by the city walls, with the canal flowing around it, and a keep, the Rocchetta, overlooking the countryside to house the salaried troops. Of this early Visconti fortification, we can still see the base in Cerizo, a very hard gray Lombard stone, But before becoming Lord of Milan, Gian Galeazzo had an obstacle to overcome, winning the other half of Milan, still in the hands of his uncle Bernabo. It took him 7 years to set the stage. He obtained the imperial vicarship for himself alone and married one of Bernabo's daughters, and then set the trap for his uncle, feigned to wish to cross Milan for a pilgrimage. On the 5th of May 1385, he asked to meet his uncle Bernabo, who, as ferocious as he was incompetent in this instance, came to the rendezvous unarmed and was instantly taken prisoner and locked up in Gian Galeazzo newly built stronghold at Porta Giovia, which thus proved its usefulness even. But for a short time, 19 days later, Bernabo was moved to the castle of Treso, where he died of poisoning shortly after. Many centuries later, by a twist of fate, Bernabo returned to Porta Giovia in the form of a monument. However, the way now cleared, Gian Galeazzo made it his business to turn Milan into a true capital. The year 1386 marked the foundation of the gigantic Duomo, or cathedral, which was completed only with the arrival of Napoleon. Finally, on the 5th of September 1395, the imperial legitimation arrived and Gian Galeazzo was appointed first Duke of Milan. As for the castle, work was not resumed at the building yard until the Duke's son, Filippo Maria, the last of the Visconti, succeeded him, this time with the purpose of converting the stronghold into a residence, albeit still fortified, with its 180-meter square footprint and 4 square corner towers and a second bulwark protecting the side overlooking the countryside. The wall known as the Ghirlanda apparently goes back to the Visconti era, although it was greatly strengthened later. The castle is the greatest of all those the Visconti built, ennobled with a barco, meaning a garden set in the vast adjoining grounds. True to tradition, the ensuing heir, Filippo Maria, had to eliminate a relative, his older brother Giovanni Maria, before being able to don the ducal cap, which he would hold onto with all his might, suspicious of everything and everyone. From 1412 to his death in 1447, laying paranoid, a sour of discord, and a dissembler, Filippo Maria had 2 wives, a great many lovers of both sexes, and no legitimate heir, only a daughter, Bianca Maria, whom he had with Agnese de Magno. The girl became the woman, or better said, the child of destiny, legitimized by her father, the Pope, and the Emperor. She was engaged to be married when she was only 7 years old to the captain of a group of mercenaries, Francesco Sforza, who was already 30, thereby clinching the deal to hire him as condottiere for the defense of the duchy against its everlasting enemy, Venice. The wedding, after a few ups and downs, was celebrated 10 years later in 1441, thus allowing Sforza, thanks to his wife of Visconti birth, to aspire to the succession. I am going to show you a photograph of Bianca María Visconti. There she is. Bianca María Visconti, in a portrait formerly attributed to Bonifacio Bembo, held in the Pinacoteca di Brera. Though much younger than her husband, Francesco Sforza, their marriage was a lasting and happy one, as shown by the voluminous correspondence which Bianca María left to conduct their affairs while Francesco was at war, addressed to him, a perfect illustration of the saying that behind a great man there is always a great woman. Okay, I hope this is of your interest, and we will see you next time. Thank you for accompanying me.